Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Cintya Al Zahra Wahyu Paramita, NIM 20 00310064. Today, I would like to present about my research. The title is The Effects of Eye Health on the Duration of Watching Korean Dramas, Medical Student Attitude at the University of Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta. The outline of my research, number 1 is introduction, number 2 is literature review, number 3 is research methods, number 4 is results, and the last is discussion and conclusions. First is introduction. Today, globalization is increasingly widespread. Many people, especially from teenagers to adults, really like Korean dramas, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, because they are too bored at home and have no other activities at home. With a very large average viewing duration and the number of episodes in Korean dramas, this will affect their eye health condition. The icon of the Korean dramas that tells the romantic story of the cast has captured the hearts of fans of all ages and viewers alike. They are like the plot, actor, and actress that shone in Korean dramas they watch. Therefore, Korean dramas can be said to be very successful. And the literature review of my research, according to Risky, in the year of 2016, Korean drama is a film produced in South Korea and marketed throughout the world, which is depicted about the life of the people in South Korea and aired through television and the internet. According to Yu, fast and easy internet access, as well as the influence of globalization, are one of the factors that many people from all of ages and abroad watch Korean dramas. In addition, the storyline, location, and cast provide a new atmosphere that the audience has never seen before. While the eyes is an organ of the body created by God by receiving light and being processed in it by the part in it for the process of saying by Kurmasela et al. In the year of 2013. The eye is a vital human organ and almost all human information is obtained from the eye. Eyes that have decreased function are caused by humans not maintaining and utilizing the eyes properly. And the reasons that make Korean dramas are in great demand by audiences from all over the country, start from the various genres such as romantic, actions, horror, and many more. This is what makes Korean dramas reap huge profits. Culture and language also make it the reason many viewers watch Korean dramas. And the research methods I use in my research, number 1 is this research. Use quantitative method to find student knowledge, attitude, and strategy in Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. This research was also conducted at the Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta by use an online survey to avoid the spread and close contact with COVID-19 at this time. And the number two is the number of research respondents was 20 female students of the 2020 medical faculty at the Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta would like to watch Korean dramas. And the number three, in this cross-sectional study collected using a questionnaire via Google Form, and the researchers spread this link through WhatsApp. This questionnaire will be divided into three parts, namely knowledge about Korean dramas. There are 6 questions. Attitude, there are 3 questions. And student strategies to reduce watching Korean dramas, there are 2 questions, with a total of 11 questions. The types of questions in this questionnaire are open-ended and closed-ended questions. The graph listed below explain the results of statements from medical students at the Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta. Statements from students refer to student knowledge and attitude from eye health, watching Korean dramas for too long. The results of my research, number one is student knowledge towards Korean drama. Based on the results of the diagram obtained from the questionnaire above, it shows that 97% of respondents knew about Korean drama, while only 3% mentions not knowing Korean dramas very well. This indicates that students' knowledge of Korean dramas is very high. And the number two from my results is students' attitude towards Korean drama. Based on the diagram above, 60% of respondents often watching Korean dramas, while 40% answer that they rarely watch Korean dramas. In this case, it points out that not all students would like Korean dramas, watch Korean dramas every day with very long viewing hours. And the last of my results is student strategy towards Korean drama. Based on the graph above, as much as 85% reduced their time watching Korean dramas, and only 50% respondents did not reduce their time watching Korean dramas. This means that there are still many of the respondents who care about their eye health by reducing and looking for other strategies so as not to be addicted to watching Korean dramas. And the discussion of my research, based on the research that has been done, respondents very high interest in Korean dramas by showing a high level of knowledge. Although there are some respondents who do not really know too far about what Korean dramas are, so it proves that Korean dramas are very popular and widespread among teenagers, including college students who are watched to take time, release stress, and see their idols appear in a movie. Researchers meanwhile, the attitude of the respondents themselves is also very high. Many of them often watch Korean dramas for hours, and some of them don't watch Korean dramas for too long. So, the researcher found that many of them watch Korean dramas for their hobby or watching just for interludes so that someone can watch for long. Uh, Researchers also found that respondent strategies and awareness to watch Korean dramas are also very high when compared to those that do not reduce watching. This means that many of the respondents still love their body, especially their eyes, by doing other activities besides viewing the screen for hours. And the last is conclusion. As shown above, it was found that all respondents understood what is Korean dramas about. Many of them watch Korean dramas with a few duration that is certainly not small and discreetly affected their eye health. However, many of the respondents admitted to reduce their watch time on Korean dramas with their own activities and ways after their eyes become sore. This concluded from the results of all respondents, they still care about their eye health. It is recommended for other researchers to make more research on the effects on the eyes when watching Korean dramas for too long. Researchers can then explain the process to the eye when the eye is exposed to the screen for too long without rest, its complication in the eye, and can provide several choices of solution that are good for those who are addicted to watching Korean dramas so that they can add insight and become more aware of the body. I think that's all from my presentations. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.